The Black Ice Chronicles Massive. This is Crazy D. I just came back from my morning run and getting my morning smoothie to flush out, because I'm getting ready for TBIC 6 to be in front of the camera, but you know that already. What am I speaking on today? Often I speak on, the black code, which is, we built this country. We are the moral rudder through the black church of social justice and making America better. That's part of the black code of what we believe and what we think. But today I'm speaking on the white code to assist in helping those who might not be aware of what the white code is. The white code is more unspoken than the way black people speak on the black code. The white code is unspoken. It's more the way that white folks who practice racism and white supremacy treat each and every individual black person that they come in contact with. You might be in the store and you give the cashier your credit card. She puts the credit card back on the counter instead of putting it back in your hand. Or you hand the money, the solid bill, and you have change coming, and they'll put the change on the counter along with the coins, and you have to pick it up. Or they will, if they put the money in your hand, they jerk back fast when they dropping the change in. That's part of the white code, white supremacy, saying we don't want to too much touch. So when you see that happen, it's upon you to make sure that they pick that motherfucking credit card up and put it in your hand. Now that's the internal anger. See, people do things to you, and then it releases a chemical in you, and then that's why a lot of African Americans, well, black people, I say black, that's why a lot of black people have illnesses, because they don't take care of the problem when it presents itself. When a problem presents itself in front of them, they turn the other cheek, and that releases a chemical, and then they end up taking it out on their own instead of nipping it in the bud. So you don't have to get loud and obnoxious. By the way, I never think that the black woman is loud and obnoxious, but that's also the white code to try to diminish the black woman's power of spoken word and having righteous indignation for them doing something wrong. They will try to say that the black woman is loud and obnoxious and unbearable, and some black people pick that shit up too. That's part of the white code too, so you have to be careful. Another example is if you go to a store, and it's a store where if you're in the bakery, let's say, and you're able to ask for a sample, and you notice that the others that are not black, they cut and give them a large sample of the piece. But with you, they look at you and their face automatically twists, and then they cut you a little piece as if to say that you're not going to buy anyway, so why give you a large sample? Or it's a mentality of cheating a black person out of what everyone else gets. You have to be careful. So it's either two things that they're thinking of, right? Either way, it's white supremacy, racism. So they give you this little piece, and then some black people, to prove that they were actually going to buy something, they'll buy 2 or 3 of whatever it was in the bakery to prove that they were going to buy it to this white trash that's working in the bakery. You worked hard so that you can shop in stores, and you've got your degree, or you've got a nice job because you're skilled at a skill, a trade, And you walk in and these people are just behind the counter. They're not going to school. They're unskilled labor working in a grocery store, and they have the nerve to turn their nose up to you. That's part of white supremacy too. Or let's say that the sample is out on the floor and people walk by. You've seen people walk by and they say, would you like a sample? But then when you walk by, they act like they forget to ask a customer if they're going to purchase anything. Again, white supremacy. So you have to go back, and most of the time you may look at it and say, that's not something I want to sample anyway. Somebody might have sneezed on it, coughed over it, whatever the fuck, but it's just the principle of the thing. So, it's upon you not to be ignorant and get all out of pocket because you know what it is. And you go back over there and say, well, didn't you see us pass? Because we're not the invisible man or the invisible woman. It's not like we really wanted to get a sample in the first place, but you ask equally because we're in a society that's supposed to be about everyone being treated the same, quote unquote. So that's part of the white code right there, different things. Or you just finished with a sales associate buying a large ticket item, and there's a white person standing behind you. Most of the time they're wearing sunglasses. And they're standing there, male or female, and they're standing there with that stern look on their face like, you're wasting time. And the sales associate who is white, who lives under the white code because they're practicing white supremacy racism, they will rush you. You've bought this big ticket item. The white person behind you, they're not spending as much money as you, but they're trying to rush you. They barely say thank you and they're moving on. Their eyes are glancing over at the white person standing there, and you didn't bought this big ass ticket item, right? And again, you have educated yourself. You either have a trade, you're working at a good job because of that trade, or you have your degree. Either way, you have a certificate, you're credentialed, or you have a bachelor's degree, master's degree, or PhD. And these people who are standing behind you, who are practicing the white code of white supremacy racism, they act like you're the one that's in the way. Okay. And what's happening is most of those white folks who believe in the white code, who are practicing white supremacy, they believe that Donald Trump is going to make their plight better. However, Donald Trump is not going to be able to help them, because if you are a lazy, shifty, sitting on your ass, doing nothing to better yourself, thinking that your white skin gives you privilege, consciously or subconsciously thinking that, and you're doing nothing but, again, sitting on your ass, being lazy and shifty, not getting a certificate or credential or a degree to better yourself, Trump is not going to be able to help you. He's not going to be able to help those who live under the white code. You have to have skill. Did you watch his show, The Apprentice? People who win have skills. They have the ability to do the job within his organization. If you don't do that, he's not helping you. He's not going to be able to help you, and you're going to be in the same situation, talking the same shit, going to get your guns because you're frustrated, voting white because you're under the white code, white supremacy racism, and black people who have credentials, have certificates of completion, or have degrees will still be over you. Nothing you can do about that. But you're living under that fictitious white code that is mental illness. White supremacy racism is mental illness. Now, what I want to speak on today Now, I spoke on as far as people, as far as white folks who are working in a store or an establishment and they practice the white code, white supremacy, racism. But then let's speak on something else. We were in Whole Foods, I'll say it, and we were standing at the bakery case, right? Looking at which cookie I was going to pick up. I was picking up a cookie. They have donuts, pastries, all that cookie, but I was going to pick me up a almond chocolate cookie. So I hear this woman talking to, it's two women. One is younger, one is older. The one that's younger is in her 30s. The older woman is around in her 60s. And I hear them talking on my right side, walking up. And she says, she calls the older woman mommy, so I know that that's her mother. So they see me in particular standing there. I'm standing in the case. I'm the one getting ready to choose what I'm getting ready to get. This woman steps in front of me, opens the case, grabs a bag first, grabs a little wax paper, opens the case, grabs a donut. It starts grabbing the vegan donuts or whatever. How I know this, we gotta get to that in a minute. So I'm sitting there looking at her. I'm like, okay, sooner or later, this woman is going to say, oh, excuse me, or I'm the invisible man or some shit. And he'll say, oh, I didn't see you standing there. Okay, whatever. I understand. I don't agree with or condone the white code, but I understand what they're doing. But I'm sitting there. I'm saying sooner or later, okay, but she didn't. So she got one bag. So she went to go get the other bag. So now I could have gotten loud and out of pocket and all that, but I decided I would do it intelligently, using my third eye, my intellect, my wisdom, and the intelligence over the years of studying the white code. So I said, I looked at her mother. I did not direct it at her, because she's standing here. Her mother is off to the side. Her mother had on sunglasses. See, that's always a telltale sign of a white supremacist. They have on sunglasses because they are in fear of looking you in your eyes. Me, I usually don't have my sunglasses on unless I'm walking, but other than that, I'm looking you right in your eye. But anyway, so I look to her mother. I say, you know how when you step up someplace and someone is standing there, you just say common courtesy, excuse me. Her mother took her sunglasses off and looked at me, and then all of a sudden her daughter says, oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Please forgive me, I didn't mean to do that. Let me step out your way so that you can get what you're gonna get. So I went and got my 2 cookies, and then she said, oh, I'm sorry. She kept on saying she was sorry, and then she even told my wife, oh, I'm sorry, I'm apologetic, because you have to step into those who practice white supremacy, racism, the white code. You have to step into them and let them know, look, I'm standing here. There's no way that we're invisible, because we built this shit. And plus, we probably have more credentials, more degrees, even more common sense than you do as a white person who's trying to assert their whiteness by being rude, living under the white code to feel like you're superior. And anyone who wants to feel superior over another person, that is mental illness. Racism and white supremacy is mental illness. So she kept saying, oh, I apologize. I just moved on. And she said, please accept my apology. I'm not that way. But you stood there and you knew I was standing there, and you stepped in the way in the first place instead of just saying, excuse me. So that's what I wanted to speak on today. Put it all together and remember, step into the white supremacist racist with step into the white supremacists with intellect, intelligence, and wisdom, and they will do like what that woman did, apologizing, kowtowing, and trying to lie to make an excuse for their white code, acting asses, white supremacy, racism, believing asses, but they have to bow down. And so that's the key. And so that's what we wanted to talk about today. So that's it. The Black Ice Chronicles.